I'm Kevin O'Hara for Alcohol Mastery. Today I just wanted to talk about some of the things that I'm struggling with personally. I understand and still get what people are going through when they say that they've got struggles with alcohol, and I'm a big believer in that it's a simple thing to quit drinking. So you just don't put it into your mouth anymore, and then it's filling in the gaps and adding in new elements in your life that's going to get you through it. So you replace what you used to be doing, you replace the alcohol with something else. So something that I'm sort of struggling with is my diet, my nutrition. I'm still trying to get rid of this bloody belly that just is a permanent reminder of the shit that I used to put into my body. I changed my diet really 2 years ago. So in the same year that I quit drinking, I also became I don't like the word vegan because it's got all these other connotations to it, but it's a good word to use. It's a plant-based diet that I'm on, and the reason why I chose a plant-based diet was because it was a very simple switch. So I just wanted to sort of take do one thing that could take a huge chunk of the bad shit that I was putting into my diet, and that bad food was meat, dairy products, and all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't grow out of the ground if it doesn't, if it's not, whole food that I can buy whole and as Mother Nature intended it, then I'm not really interested in eating it. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm eating now. If I can show you this, these are things that I'm eating now. So these are my stash of bananas. Look, they're some of the bananas that I eat, and they're perfectly ripe now for eating. There's flies chasing me around because these things are just really ready to eat now. That's some of the stuff that's not ready to eat. Now, where I'm struggling with this is, I'm getting used to this now, where before, it should be very easy to switch over to a diet, so it's very easy to sort of say, well, this is what I'm going to do now. Not going to eat any more meat, I'm not going to eat any more dairy products, not going to eat any more fish. If it doesn't come off a tree or grow out of the ground or whatever, if it doesn't grow in some form or other and I can't buy it in a whole way, then I'm not going to eat it. But there's the whole transition that nobody thinks about, and that transition is, how do I do this? I mean, I'm not, if I eat 10 bananas a day and I want to eat them like that, but when I go to the shops, I buy them like that, then how does that work? How do I and it's taken me a long time to sort of figure it out. Well, I buy my bananas every couple of days. So I have a section of bananas there, and you can probably see it in the background there. That's my banana stash. So at the top of it there's the unripe ones, the green bananas, and then as you go down the list, there's sort of, it goes more into ripe bananas like this, right? And it's just taken me a long time to sort of figure out small little things like that. It's taken me a long time to figure out different meals that I like, and I'm still not there. I'm still trying to go with my old-fashioned thinking, so meat and 2 veg, 3 meals a day, and that really doesn't work when you change your diet like this. For instance, I have to eat a lot more fruit and vegetables, dairy products and meat, and all that kind of stuff is a lot more calorie dense. Oil, for instance, I think there's a lot more calories in oil. I can't remember the thing, but I don't eat oil anymore. I try not to eat oil anymore. But the problem then is I'm living in Spain, and I have a lot of my family lives here, and a lot of people come over and visit, and that creates its own problems in You know, in the same way as when, you know, you first quit drinking, you have problems with going out and other people are questioning you about why you're not drinking. You're getting the cravings for drink because you don't know what else to drink. You know, you go into a pub and you're used to having a pint of beer or a glass of wine or whatever you're used to drinking, and now you're basically left with a choice of fizzy drinks or water or that kind of thing. I mean, you know, like I drink orange juice when I go out, and I get water as well. But you're very limited, so it takes a while to get over that initial sort of shock to the system. What do I do now? Why are people saying this to me? Am I a freak? Am I weird? Am I abnormal? That kind of thing. So, and it's exactly the same way when you go out and you've changed your diet radically, like I have. You know, and anyone who's a vegetarian or a vegan will understand this when you go out. And you know, Spain is a big country for meat eaters. You know, you order a salad here and you get meat in it, or you'll get tuna in it and stuff, and you have to specifically say, all I want is vegetables, or I want salad. I don't want meat, I don't want fish, I don't want dairy, I don't want any of that stuff. And you have to, every time you go into the restaurant, you have to do that. And in the beginning, it's very difficult to do that. You know, it's hard to sort of, to put yourself out there, above everyone else, and you're sort of making yourself stand out, and you're making yourself feel like weird because you automatically want to order off the menu, you know, and you might get 5-6 different pages of stuff, and you can only eat maybe 1 or 2 items, you know, and even those items you have to sort of question. So that's the difficulties that I'm still sort of facing, and I'm gradually doing it, bit by bit, moment by moment, adding new recipes to my arsenal of recipes, to my own recipe book, stuff that I like. You know, like, and I've heard a lot of people have said to me in the past, well, this is a great way of losing weight. This is a great way of doing this. You'll like this kind of food. You'll like this, try that, you know. And it's all well and good, you know, try all these different things. But as with anything else in life, it's all up to the individual person. It's what you like. It's what is going to work for you. It's your taste buds are different to mine. And it's all about trying to get, trying to sort of change your old life for a start. So you're trying to eliminate the old habits, or the old automatic habits. You're trying to get them out of the way, but you have to replace them with new things. And you know, in the beginning it's very difficult because you don't know where you are. You don't know. It's sort of, you feel like a child again, you know, and you know, that's a difficult thing to sort of get through, to actually not know where you're going or what you're doing, or you know. So I just wanted to make a quick video to let you know that, you know, I'm still struggling with certain things, and I'm dealing with it every day. I'm dealing with it in the ways that I know are best for me. I'm learning more stuff about myself every day. So the more things you know about yourself, the more you get to know what you like and what you don't like. You get to know how your own body reacts to certain foods, or you know, and that's another thing that you sort of do when you are a drinker. You get into that automatic behavior that you do over and over and over again. The more you drink, the more sort of automatic that behavior becomes, the more comfortable you get in the drinking, even though you know that the drinking is not leading you anywhere, or it's causing more problems than it's serving. It's that automaticity, it's that comfort that is really your enemy, you know, because you just don't get anywhere, you know. And you know, in all fairness, when I was drinking, it wasn't just on a stable sort of field that I was going. It was downhill, and I think that's, everyone does that. Now, without the alcohol, I can see these things, you know. I can see, you know, when I go on say if I go on a month-long thing where I'm just eating whole fruits and I'm just sticking to my plant-based diet, then family come over and I go into a restaurant and all that's there is a pizza, for instance, and you can't tell somebody, look, I don't want the oil on the pizza, I don't want cheese on the pizza, so I give in and I have the cheese pizza, right? The day after that, because I've gone for so long just eating the good food, the clean food, when I start eating the crap food again, I really notice it myself. Now that's something that I wouldn't have noticed if I was a drinker, because your whole system is on that much of a roller coaster that you don't know whether you're coming or going. You know, you can't judge. You don't know whether it's from the alcohol or whether it's from the food you're eating or whether it's from the lack of exercise. And for me, there's a balance. I'm trying to get this balance now. And without the alcohol, I can see that. I can see the differences. You know, I can sort of gauge what's working for me and what's not. You know, there's, like I say, I went on this diet 2 years ago, and the main protagonist behind that, the main reason why I did this, was because I went into the hospital. My father was taken into hospital with a massive heart attack, and basically everyone thought that he wasn't going to come out of the hospital. So he was in intensive care. He was in this massive room just facing the nurses' station, and he was on his own, and he was basically just surrounded by machinery and wires and pipes coming out of him, and it just looked horrible. But my experience of the whole thing of going to the hospital was I had a different head on my shoulders than when I was drinking. I'd already switched. I was already off the drink for, by the time I quit, by the time I went on the plant-based diet, it was 8 months. So that was around August now. I'm not sure. I think it was in June. So it was beginning of June that my dad went into hospital. So I was 6 months off the booze. And my mind had already gone away from the alcohol. I knew I wasn't going to touch any more of it. You know, that was sort of in my past. And I'd already put this I'd already developed this other way of thinking, that I wanted to improve myself as much as I could. And I wanted to be responsible for everything that I did to myself. And that's what I saw in the hospital, was so many people were there, sadly, through their own, through what they'd done to themselves, either through bad diet, lack of exercise, drugs, drink, cigarettes, you know, accidents, doing things that, you know, they shouldn't be doing, you know, that kind of thing. And people were there, you know, a lot of these people were there because, you know, the information about nutrition and exercise and alcohol and cigarettes, you know, that's only a fairly recent thing where people are starting to get educated about this kind of stuff. I mean, you know, when my dad was a kid, the doctors were smoking, you know. When I was a kid, I remember going into the doctor's office and he was smoking. You know, now everyone's drinking, you know. It seems like everyone's drinking. Drinking is a part of our lives. And the education is not there for it. So, and it's the same with the food, same with the nutrition. You know, people just eat this stuff because it's food and they're taught that this is what they have to eat, and they get so much into the zone of eating that kind of stuff, so much into the comfort of eating that kind of stuff, that it's very difficult for them to change. Now I'm having that difficulty in my life, but because my brain is thinking about that personal responsibility, my ability to respond to the things in my life that I don't want anymore, you know, to try and give myself a lot more years. First of all, you know, like it's not just about the years, it's about the quality of the years. I don't want to live until I'm 100 if for the last fucking 20 years of my life or 30 years of my life I'm going to be in pain. You know, I don't want that. You know, I don't want it if the quality of my life is going to suffer, but I'm just there alive. What's the point in that? I'm being kept alive by pills and being pushed around in a wheelchair and stuff like that. And unfortunately, that's, my dad is, and God love him, this is the way his life is, and his life is because of the stuff that he's done to himself, because of his body, and, he didn't know any better, so I have to give him that. But when I see that he's 83 now, and he's basically needs to be pushed around in a wheelchair. He can get around on his stick. He fell over the other day because he refuses to use this bloody Zimmer frame, and he's got a Zimmer frame, but he prefers to use a walking stick because it's easier for him to get out. And I think it's the pride before the fall. Anyway, he got up in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, and was going to use the toilet, and he slipped, and whatever way he tripped, and he fell on his hip. And instead of telling anyone, my brother lives with him, instead of telling my brother, he went back into bed, and he couldn't sleep, he was in pain, and 6 o'clock in the morning he got my brother up and said, look, you have to take me to the hospital, I think I've done some damage here, and luckily enough they kept him in for the day, and they did a lot of tests on him, and they, x-rays or scans or whatever, and he didn't break anything, so it was only bruising, but he's still in pain now, and now he's sort of using his Zimmer frame. So as I say, pride before the fall. But when I was in the hospital, I just saw so many people in there because of through their own actions, and I want to try and not do that to myself. I want to teach my son as much as I can, lead by example, and teach as many people as I can around me about this kind of stuff, because like a lot of this stuff you don't need to do to yourself. So and like I say, it's a balance between nutrition. I mean, a lot of my nutritional thing is weight loss, and I want to lose the belly and blah blah, but it's not just about that, it's about how you feel. I feel 10 times better when I'm eating good food than when I'm eating crap, and I know that now because I don't drink, right? I don't have that false it's like when you're drinking, you always are under this, you're always under the influence of the alcohol, whether you're under the influence and you're drunk, or you're under the influence because of the poisoning effect. So you're always feeling that effect from the alcohol. When you don't drink the alcohol anymore, you start feeling the effect, which is on a lower level, of the food that you're eating. So like I say, when I eat good food, I feel good. When I eat crap food, even if it's only one meal of crap food, I notice it. I can really feel it in my body. It's the same with the exercise. The exercise primary aim, motivation for going out and doing the exercise is to lose this goddamn belly. But at the same time, when I exercise, I feel good in my body and in my mind. I feel good all over, I can think better, I can function better. I don't need as much sleep. So, there's a balance in my life now, and there's a balance in everyone's life, right, between eating good and getting exercise. And I think once you can get that personal balance of what you like to do, what you like to do with your exercise, there's no point in going out and exercising if you hate every second of it. When I was running, I hated every second of it. I couldn't stand it. Everything was aching, and I just didn't like that feeling, And I always had this thing of, oh yeah, I want to run, but the reasons behind me wanting to run was because I saw everyone else doing it, and I thought, oh yeah, that looks cool. And I remember running around as a kid, and I liked running then, so ergo, that's something that I might like doing now. But I hate running. I just hate running with a passion. So somebody says to me, if that was the only exercise, I would get no exercise. But I can walk. I've got a bike upstairs that I can cycle. I like going to the gym because I can get onto the treadmill, whack it up to the top level that it goes, up to sort of the incline, 15% or whatever, 15 degrees. I can go on that at about 4.5 to 5 kilometers an hour, and I can do an hour on that, and I can listen to audio books or podcasts or whatever. So it's sort of time when I can sort of get into my own head and just focus on the machine sort of thing, you know. So I'm not, you know, it's one of those things. It's like a form of meditation for me. I also like getting out walking up in the hills, as everyone knows. But so yeah, so it's trying to find those with your drinking. It's trying to find those the replacements that you like to do, you know. So there's no point in listening. I mean, this book, Hang Loose Without Booze, it's just a load of suggestions, and it's some of the stuff that appeal to me, you know. It's most of the stuff, apart from the running. So, but you're going to have to sort of look for your own things, you know. And that's the same thing with whether you're looking at your life, what you want to do for entertainment, what you want to do for relaxation, for stress, what you want to eat, how you want to exercise. It's trying to take other people's ideas, trying them out for yourself. If they don't work, you know, maybe trying to tweak them a little bit so that they suit you, or, you know, just using those as a springboard to think about other things that you might be able to do. So anyway, you know, the reason I made this video was to sort of highlight that I am struggling with certain things, but that I'm dealing with it. You know, it's not that I'm giving up now or anything like that. I'm trying to improve myself day by day by day, and I know that by keeping on the path that I'm on, by not drinking, by changing my diet and sticking to this new diet, by getting enough exercise, by working away on my own stuff on the website and in my own business, I'm heading in the right direction. And each part of that life is just about tweaking things until I sort of like what I'm doing, and then moving away from that and tweaking something else until I like that, and, you know, gradually, you know, building a new life for myself, you know. And it doesn't happen overnight, you know. I'm nearly 3 years into this, and I'm still sort of trying to tweak things and to trying to build this new life, you know. And I don't think I'm ever going to get there to the place that I want to be, and only because life throws up different challenges. It throws up new directions that you want to take in your journey, and that's just the way life is. So I'm quite happy with that, quite happy with my life the way it is now. And you know, the struggles are not like my struggles beforehand were just seemed insurmountable, you know, because every time I had something, I had a problem, it was like, yeah, fuck this, I'm going to get drunk. I can't deal with this, you know. So that was my answer to everything. Now I haven't got that anymore. Don't want that in my life anymore, ever again. And it's sort of, you take these steps bit by bit. And you know, it is difficult in the beginning because, you know, when you feel frustrated, when you feel like you're not getting anywhere, the temptation is to go back and have a drink, you know, and to just go, oh, fuck this, I can't do it, you know, I just want to have a drink. And that's a big temptation, I understand that. But as you get into this, the more you get into it, the more you will see that you're putting little blocks in place, you're putting little steps in place, and each of those steps is building on the little step that you put beforehand. So, you know, you start out by just refusing to have a drink, right? Those are the basic things that you have to do. By saying no to a drink, by saying that I don't drink anymore, getting to that stage, you know. It's like at the beginning I was saying to people, well, you know, I'm not drinking because I'm driving, you know. It was the easiest thing to do. Or I'm not drinking because I have taken some medication. And that was what got me through those first few awkward situations. Then after a while, it was like, it wasn't a big deal anymore. So then it was just like, I don't drink, you know. And if people questioned that, it was like, well, I don't drink because of this, because of that, because I read too many books. That's my go-to one now, which shuts everyone up straight away. They don't talk about it anymore because they don't want to hear you telling them about what they're doing bad. And they know that if you've been reading into this stuff and you start understanding what's going on, that, you know, you have an understanding of what's going on, and they don't want to know that. They want to still keep their head in the sand and live their lives like the way they want to do. So going back to that thing, it's like if you're building those little things. Like when I went out first, and I was saying that I didn't want to have a drink because I was driving, and I didn't really want to share my new journey with anyone that I was quitting drinking, because I was unsure myself how to deal with things. Then you start putting a few more practice sessions in, you go out and you do it more, and you build on that, and that's in every different area of your life, and there's no more. When I was drinking, there was always one step forward, and I've heard this so many times, so I know that you understand this, right? That when you have a drink, it's one step forward, two steps back. You make these little tiny steps forward, and you take a big giant leap back. I've done that so many times, and there is no more of that. You get it in small amounts, that's life. But in general, you progress, you make progress in your life. You make these little steps, and then you build on those little steps, and you build and you build and you build. So when I say I'm struggling, it's nothing major. It's like, I know I'm going to be able to deal with it. I know that I'm going to be able to sort this out at one stage or another. So anyway, that's enough of that for now. If you have any questions at all, give me a shout over at the website, either through the contact form or Kevin at Alcohol Mastery. If you haven't got the new book, Hang Loose Without Booze, you can find it on Amazon for free. There's also, if you sign up for the newsletter, you can get part 2 of the book for free. So come on over to the website and take a look. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Give us a thumbs up if you like this channel. That's really going to help. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. And until next time, have a great week, and I'll see you next week. I'm Kevin O'Hara for Alcohol Mastery. Onwards and upwards.